Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you all here for our launch event for the IGF Support Association. Please eat your lunch while we go ahead with our business. We have essentially, this is an event which has to fulfill some statutory obligations in order for us to be recognized as a legal entity under Swiss law. But before we start with that business, it is my pleasure. I have Assistant Secretary General Thomas Gass on the podium and ISOC CEO and President Kathy Brown, and they both agreed to say a few introductory words. Please, Thomas.
Thank you very much, Marcus, Mr. Kumar, Mrs. Brown, Shangitai, dear colleagues. I'm not going to make it very long, but to say, as I said just now, the internet is about various initiatives coming and strengthening and bringing synergies to bear to sustainable, what is effectively and hopefully sustainable development going forward. And over these last 10 years of IGF, we've seen some of the strengths, we've also seen some of the weaknesses of IGF. Now, I believe that this IGF Support Association is there to help address one of these gaps, namely, how can we bring more resources, more diverse resources to bear on capacity building, on making these IGF meetings more open, more participative, and within the constraints that a secretariat may have to deal with usually. And so I'd like to just say that at the UN Secretariat, we warmly welcome initiatives such as this one, and in particular, of course, the launching of the IGF Support Association. And I'm very happy to be here and to see this new baby being born after quite a long gestation period. But we always knew with some really strong people pushing, there is success at the end of the line. So congratulations. Thanks.
Thank you for these kind words. Kathy, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. I can't tell you what it means to have a full room to me. This is fabulous. And Marcus knows how very happy I am that you're all here and that you have replied to our call to come and help us form this association so that we can bring more resources to the table to strengthen what we believe is the premier, not the only one, but probably the premier multi-stakeholder organization in the world, where people come together, as I just said upstairs, it's a marketplace of ideas. We exchange those ideas. We go back and implement those ideas in all kinds of ways in an ecosystem that is much better for the fact that this organization exists, that it is strong, that it is full of very brilliant folks and activists who get the work done. The idea about forming an association is not new. There are some of our other colleagues in the room who also have tried to find mechanisms to make sure that the Secretariat is fully funded to supplement what the UN does for us, to also make sure that folks have a way to have the resources to come to the global IGF, to also help folks with their own local and regional organization of IGFs, which have just proliferated. This is an organic movement of people around the world who gather to, in a multi-stakeholder way, start to figure out how to build the internet, evolve the internet, and use the internet for the benefit of themselves and their people. This is what this is about. I want to especially point out the board of the Internet Society. It was, Marcus, a year or more ago when the board passed a resolution saying we must, as ISOC, as the Internet Society, with all of our pieces, strengthen the IGF. This is the way that we get and preserve the bottom-up decision-making of the Internet community. They told us, staff, go out and do this. Let's get this going. Let's help fund it. So we have put some seed money in. You all will hear that we have to do a lot more than seed money over the next year. We really want to have a corpus that says that we have some financial heft behind us. And that'll be the goals over the next year. I know that the group of dedicated folks who I assume are going to now rise up from all of you are going to put a lot of energy into this so that we hear a lot, well, it would be good if only it had the resources. It would be good if only it could do the kinds of interactions that we've been talking about. Well, we can do it. We can do it together. So thank you to the board of ISOC. Thank you to Marcus, who has put a lot of work into getting this together. Thank you to Constance. Thank you to all of you who have done the work to get us here this far. Marcus, back to you.
Thank you, Kathy. And with that, we can proceed to the orderly business. And I understand that the Assistant Secretary General may have other business to attend, so thank you for joining us, and please feel free to leave. So I had sent out an agenda for the meeting. Can we pull this up on the screen? That would be helpful. But it is a very simple agenda. Agenda item 1 is adoption of the agenda. Agenda item 2 is cooptation of members. Agenda item 3 is adoption of the article of association. And then 4 is determination of membership fees. And 5, maybe the most important agenda item, is the election of the executive committee. That is the committee that will be in charge of running the business and any other business at the end. And we have also asked Chengetai to be on the podium with us. We will propose that he will be associated board member without voting rights to make sure that we have coordination with the IGF Secretariat. Now, is there any... Can I take it that we all agree with this agenda as I read it out? And I can see no demand to change the agenda, so we have adopted the agenda. Agenda item 2 would be cooptation of members. In the normal course of events, the members get approved by the executive committee, but as we don't yet have an executive committee, we have to co-opt the members, and everybody who would like to be a member is asked to sign up. There are forms around, and Kyle and Walu right at the end of the room. There are 2 former fellows with the IGF Secretariat. Will happily take up your name. Now, for simplified procedure, may I ask those of you who are willing to join as of now to stand up so that we have a picture of stand up. So we have... okay, so... Point of order, okay.
Mr. Chairman, would you explain what the obligations are of membership before we stand up?
Okay. You may be seated. The obligations of the members are to share the same objectives as the association, that is to work towards furthering the good of the IGF and to pay annual membership dues. And we have proposed, and it's the General Assembly that fixes the annual membership dues, and we have proposed to get started to keep it simple, to have a flat rate membership due of $25 for individual members and $100 for legal entities, that is organization, corporations, what in Swiss law is called moral persons, not physical persons. And so the obligations are very limited for, but we, and also the philosophy is we ask members to join not because we want their money, but we want their support. And the membership fee is seen as a token, as a commitment. It's something that is worth me to pay $25. And I discussed that also with colleagues from developing countries. Is that too much? And the point was made, well, they support Manchester United and buy a shirt of Manchester United, and that costs easily $25. So if that's the same amount of commitment, I think we can ask that level of commitment. But as I said, the General Assembly may wish at a later stage to revisit the membership due structure. So having said that, can I invite again those who are willing to join to raise and be counted? Okay, this I think looks like a very good. Now, may I? This is a very good show up, and I take it then that we have co-opted all the members with acclamation, and there was no objection by anyone against anyone. So if you had any objection, you missed that opportunity. So everybody is accepted, but please then, I think we don't have the time to have a roll call, but please make sure that you put your name down. You can also go later to the booth of the IGFSA. Now, for the membership dues, we had tried to do that with a credit card, but that turned out not to be possible. We had hoped to do it through PayPal. It would have worked in the US, but outside the US it does not work. And we don't yet have a bank account. We can only set up a bank account once we exist. And under Swiss law, all we need is the list of members and the minutes of these meetings to document that we have established ourselves as a legal entity. And with that, we can go to a bank, open a bank account, and once we have that, we can send you an invoice and you can pay with credit card electronically, but you're also free to do it in cash at the IGFSA booth. It is $25, I'm told, is roughly 50 Turkish lira, so it's not the world, and I think it's easily done if you do it in cash, and our guys will make sure that they tick the box paid membership dues. Not paying membership dues, you will see in the Articles of Association, can lead to expulsion of the association, and we don't want that to happen. Right, and now we have to adopt the Articles of Association. I have sent them out beforehand, and the purpose article is listed, which is maybe the most important article, that we act in the public interest and have several objectives, among others, provide funding to the IGF Secretariat, but also to pick up on what was discussed at the MAG meeting, grant fellowships, and also support regional and national IGF initiatives. And there it can be important to provide fellowships for speakers to travel. This is something the IGF Trust Fund would not be able to do because that's outside the remit of the IGF Trust Fund. Now, this has been crafted. It's according the Swiss model. Our lawyers have used existing articles, so it is a fairly simple Articles of Association. They have been approved by the ISOC board, and they will, among other things you may be interested, the General Assembly, obviously they define the tasks of the General Assembly. The General Assembly elects the Executive Committee, and then the Executive Committee elects its chairman. And that's done by the Executive Committee. And we propose then that the Executive Committee meets right after this meeting for its first meeting to elect the chair. And in the spirit of transparency, I would suggest that we hold the first meeting of the Executive Committee as an open meeting. Now, do I take it that we have a general agreement on the Articles of Association? There don't seem to be any objection or further questions. So the Articles of Association are approved. With that, we come to the determination of membership dues. I think I have said what is the idea: $25 for individual members and $100. And now the most important business is election of members of the executive committee. I have received some nominations, but I take it that Kathy, you would maybe also make a nomination to begin with. Well, I can make it on your behalf, but okay. In Kathy's name, ISOC would like to nominate our Vice President, Raul Echeverria, who has been a member of the Multi-Stakeholder Advisory Group for many years standing. Then I received a few other names. Tarek Kamel from ICANN was proposed as a member of the Executive Committee. He unfortunately cannot be here with us today. He had an impediment and is in the air right now. He will arrive later this afternoon. And the same for the woman who chaired the 2011 IGF in Nairobi, Alice Munya. She has been proposed as a member of the Executive Committee. She has not arrived yet. Then I also received other names. Cheryl Miller from, maybe can you stand up so that people can, yes, from AT&T. Sorry, Verizon, no. Okay, and I have received the name from AT&T. He's sitting next to Cheryl, that's Virat Bhatia. And I have also received the name from a civil society member, Avri Doria. Please, will you? Multiple affiliations and well known to everybody. And I have received the name of Edmund Chung from .Asia, who is also well known to all of us. Please, Edmund. Now I'm not sure whether I've forgotten anyone because I had put my papers on this table and they're not here anymore. Yes, please. We're taking, these are the names I received. Now, okay, are there nominations? I'm just asking, have I not read out any nomination I have received? Because my papers have disappeared, so I have to do it. But in addition, are there nominations from the floor? Yes? Okay, Marilyn Cade. Subi, you had? Sorry, you? You like to stand? Okay, Subi, hang. Now let's do the arithmetics. We have Tarek, Alice, Cheryl 3, Avri 4, Virat 5, Edmund 6, Marilyn 7, Subi 8, and Raul 9. That fits miraculously because we have says that articles say should be at least 5 and no more than 9. So do I take it then that we have agreement that we have a board, we have an executive committee, we have 9 members, I read them out once again. Tarek Kamel, Alice Munya, Cheryl Miller, Avri Doria, Virat Bhatia, Edmond Chong, Marilyn Cade, and Subi Chatueri, and Raul Echeverria. So, okay, we don't have additional nominations, so. I come to that. And these are the voting members of the board. There's an uneven number, 9 members maximum as stipulated by the Article of Association. And in addition, we like to invite Chengetai in his official capacity as head of the Secretariat to join in a non-voting advisory capacity. Now, I do understand this may still have to be cleared by the Office of the Legal Advisor, Ethics Committee, whatever, but I have no doubt that this will be approved as there's no conflict of interest, and the opposite, it will actually, I think, strengthen the coherence of the operation if we have you working with the board on how best to distribute the resources we will get. So I think we have, with that, conducted our official business, unless there is any other business. Is there any other business you would like to discuss? It can always be the most important agenda item. There is, yes, Marilyn? Microphone. Microphone for...
My name is Marilyn Cade. I would just make a tentative proposal that we have always planned to have a meeting in conjunction with the IGF so that we can have the General Assembly, but we might also want to consider whether it's feasible to have meetings also in conjunction with the open consultation, and maybe hear from the General Assembly members before the Executive Committee meets on those two options.
This is something then that is up to the Executive Committee also, the organization of when the General Assembly meets, but obviously it makes sense to make best possible use of existing meetings where people are already there. But this is something I think the Executive Committee will address. What I would now suggest that we conclude the General Assembly, maybe have a short break, and then ask the Executive Committee to meet on the podium and sit in the first row for their first regular meeting, which is essentially as one agenda item, and that is to elect the chairman of the Executive Committee. Sorry? Sorry, my apology. The chair. Yes. Do I take it we agree with that? In that, I then conclude the first General Assembly of the IGF Support Association. This is concluded. Thank you very much. And then I ask... And with that, I would like to ask the various newly elected members of the Executive Committee, well, do they all, I think they may all fit on the podium, the ones that are here, as 2 are not here, come up on the podium and we bring in additional chairs. Okay. I call to order the first meeting of the Executive Committee, and as the Executive Committee does not yet have a chair, I have to assume this role. And I will ask for proposals for a chair. Who would like to propose a chair? Avri?
I'd like to second that. I second that.
Okay, so I take it then, can we have approval of the Executive Committee and we have a chair?
Yes.
Excellent. Over to you, sir. You're the chair. You have to conclude the first meeting of the Executive Committee.
During the meeting by acclamation. No. Okay, thank you very much. I am very excited with this endeavor. I think that's most of us in this room have been involved in IGF for a long, long time. I think that's the commitment that we have with the IGF is proved. For those who attended the discussion before this meeting about Net Mundial, I think that there is a lot of energy in this community in order to improve the IGF, to strengthen the IGF, and implementing also the outcomes of the Net Mundial meeting last April. So I think that we have a very challenging future ahead, as always. And I think that this initiative, and I thank you, Marcus, very much for it is your baby. It has been your initiative to form this association. So thank you very much for giving us this gift. And I think that it will be a very, very useful vehicle for bringing not only more funding to facilitate not only the global process, but also the regional and local IGFs. But I think that also will be a vehicle for engaging more people and in the IGF processes and in the global debate. So I hope that we can work very close to the IGF Secretariat and take decisions together about how to impact in the best way the internet governance processes around the world. That I think that we have done huge things in the last few years. We will continue building this thing that we are creating, that is a new way to conduct the international relations, in this case focus on internet governance matters. So thank you very much to all of the people that supported this initiative. I'm very glad to see the distinguished colleagues that we will have in the executive committee. So I don't know if any of you want to say anything before closing, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think the purpose and the vision with which this has been set up and the points that you've outlined in the document, so the association, I think, clearly outlines the task that we have ahead of ourselves. I think a lot has been said about changing, modifying, evolving IGF, and I think here is the opportunity for us to do this not only in the MAG, but also as a support organization. So I think it's an important role, and I think the representation around the table, this committee and others who will join as members, will hopefully take this discussion into the developing countries, into places where the engagement and awareness is still at a lower level. And I hope that that's one of the things that we will be able to achieve. While I sit on a table which sort of looks like the Last Supper, I think we have the sort of we'll have sort of serious work ahead of us, and I want to thank you for agreeing to chair this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Raul, and thank you for agreeing to take up the gauntlet. We couldn't have asked for a better chair. I thank everyone who's here with us in this room. 2012 was my first IGF. I know what it means to be here from a developing country perspective, from an emerging economy perspective, and as a woman, and as someone who usually speaks for underrepresented stakeholders and communities. Your support means a lot to the IGF. We'd like to be able to facilitate more people so that they can experience the same bottom-up, inclusive, transparent process that the IGF is. And I'm very happy to commit my time, effort, and energy, and I know with all of you there, we'd be able to do great things and make sure that there are more voices and these voices get replicated. Thank you so much.
Any other comment? No, but it's no voting or non-speaking? Okay, so you can speak.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'll just like to thank Kathy, Marcus, and Constance, and ISOC, the ISOC board, for having the initiative to set this up. The IGF is a community effort, and it's good to see that the community is out there trying to find ways and means to support the IGF. And speaking for the IGF Secretariat, we do look forward to working with the board and making a more successful IGF and more inclusive IGF with the support from the community. Thank you.
Any other comment?
Just, if you're ending, I just wanted to give a round of applause for Kathy and for Marcus, so really for putting this effort together. And Constance.
Okay. Okay, so I think that we will close this meeting before the picture. And I think that obviously we will be talking to all of you, and it will be appreciated if you bring other people on board to support this initiative. So I will not say that you have to prepare your checks, but if you want to do it, that could be okay. Okay. So thank you very much, everybody, for attending this meeting. And I think that's if there is not any objection.
A technical question: do we have everybody's, those who stood up, or can we just request them to leave their visiting card on the way out? Then we have a first list, or do you already have that of the people who stood up for membership?
Yes, we are in the process of concluding the sign-up sheet, and I think we will circulate. And please sign up to the e-list we set up for this. I mean, we will. Obviously, not everybody has seen the list, but when you sign up, we will give you the link so that we have a list of all the members where we can communicate, and we will also set up a list for the members of the executive committee for conducting business. One thing I forgot to say, we have produced a pin. You will get one of those. All fee-paying members will get one of these pins. So
today.
We have it. We have plenty of them here. And please, we may not have the time to complete the list, as there are actually quite many members, but if you have not signed yet your name and we have not the details, visit the booth of the IGFSA. And members are also encouraged to spend some time there to attract other members. And you don't have to spend hours there, but just to go by, to show that you're a member and tell other people to join. That would be most welcome.
Marcus, I have a point of order question. Yes. $25 for an individual and $100 for a moral entity. Is that a maximum, or when somebody's signing up, can we accept voluntary contributions, which is more?
No, that's a minimum.
So great. That's a call. Thank you.
Okay.
Marcus?
These were the few remarks that I had. If you don't have time, it's good if you can find as many people who give all the details for the lists while we're still here. But if you don't have the time, you can always visit us at the booth. There will always either Kyle or Walu will be there, and who will take your names and details down. That's all from me.
Any objection to adjourn the meeting? 1, 2, 3. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.